So right now we can display a movie, we can add a movie, and we can update a movie. And the next step is to implement the functionality to allow us to delete a movie. So I've got my application running, both the front end and the back end, and I'm looking at the Add Movie screen, Add Edit Movie screen, and I'm going to change the URL to display the Shawshank Redemption, ID1. And what we'll do is we'll add a couple of buttons here. First of all, and we'll do this right away, we'll add a cancel button here, which the users expect to see. So we'll click on cancel, and when you click on it, it'll take us to the Manage Catalog screen, which right now just displays a title and nothing else, but eventually it will display the list of movies, and you can click on them and go right to the edit screen. And then, if we're not adding a movie, but only if we're not adding a movie, we'll add another button here that says delete, and that will of course delete the movie. So let's get started. So I'll go to my code, and I'm going to be looking at the front end right now. We'll take care of the front end first, and then we'll do the back end later. And I'll scroll right down to the bottom of the screen, just beside this Save button, and I'll add a link here. And remember, we're using the React router, so I'm not going to go ahref equals. Instead, I'll use the link functionality. And we'll use link, and I let Visual Studio Code auto import it for me. And now we're going to go where? We're going to link to, and the URL we want to go to on our front end is /admin. And now we'll add some classes to this. Class name equals, and we'll make it a button. And we'll make it a button warning. And I'll give it a little bit of padding on the left. A margin, ms-1. And the text will just be cancel. Okay, so we'll save that. And the auto import, of course, at the very top here, added import link from React Router DOM. Okay, so now we have a cancel button. And if I click on it, it takes me to this screen. And we'll be working on this one a bit later. But it gets us where I want to be. So let's go back to Add Movie. And this time let's add, once again, 1. Now I want to display a delete button here, but only if the movie ID is greater than 0. In other words, if my URL is /admin/movie0, we're adding something. So I don't want to see the delete button here. But if it's not 0, we do in fact want to add that button. So let's go back to our code, and right at the bottom here, next to our cancel button, we'll just put a little bit of conditional rendering logic in. And it's a little bit odd the way the conditional rendering works, but let's have a look at it. Movie.id, so in curly brackets, movie ID is greater than 0, and then you have to add $, which makes sense, but I'll explain why it makes sense right away. It is not, shall we say, intuitive. Then in parentheses, I'll put href equals, and I'll have it linked to nothing. So I'll do that by going #bang. And then I'll add an onClick function. OnClick, with a capital C, equals. And in curly brackets, we're going to use the ES6 syntax. This dot, and I'll refer to a function that I haven't written yet. Confirm delete. And close my curly brackets. And then we'll give it a class name. Class name equals, and again we'll make it a button, but because it's a delete button, we'll make it button danger, which will make it a nice red. And again, give it a little bit of margin on the left-hand side. And the text is just delete. So, I need to go create this confirm delete function. So I'll just do it up here at the top. Before my render function, I'll add a function, confirm delete is equal to, and we'll pass it the event. And using the arrow syntax, I'll just log to the console. Console.log would delete movie ID and this.state.movie.id. Okay, so it's not doing anything yet, but it will at least write to the console. So if we got everything right, we should be able to go back to our web browser. And now I have a delete button. Now let's open the console and make sure it works. So there's the console, and we'll clear all those old errors from the last time I was playing with this. And I'll click the delete button. And it says would delete movie ID 1. Now let's change that to a 0. And the delete button does not show up. Perfect. Okay, so in the next lecture, we'll start implementing the actual logic to delete a movie.